about to go down.
Burning your ears with another all-killer and no-filler episode of the best motorsports radio on the planet. It's the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. With your host, Jim Beaver.
Sliding trophy trucks, jumping razors, and dropping the mic at events across the country.
Amy Hood.
What's up, guys? I'm a professional fun haver, dirt bike rider, and monster truck driver.
With support from Polaris Razor, General Tire, Subaru, and Dirtfish. Hang on tight, strap in, and get ready to smoke some tires and lay some roost. Here's the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other. Jim Beaver.
Good morning and welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, along with Amy Hood. We've got her for the full show today. I'm pretty stoked about that, Amy Hood. How's everything going up there in Canada?
Oh, it's going good. I'm excited to be back. We're just kind of in that last month grind before Monster Jam starts. So everything is getting busy, and I can't wait to go racing.
Yep, and you know what? Speaking of racing, we got a lot to talk about today. Baja 1000, one of the biggest motorsports events in the world. It was the 50th anniversary of the Baja 1000. We got a lot to talk about Baja. We've got my good friend Cameron Steele. He finished second overall at the Baja 1000. We're going to have him calling in here in hour number one. And then my good friend Brandon Schueler, factory Polaris Razor athlete. He took the overall victory in a blazing time in a Polaris Razor in the Baja 1000. We got Brandon Schueler at Jagged X. He's calling in here in hour number one as well. And then hour number two, man, we've got a big, packaged group of interviews from John Force Racing, my good friends over there at JFR, taking 2 championships. And we got Robert Hight. He is on the air. He is a president in John Force Racing and took the Funny Car Championship. But then we've got, making her debut on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, Brittany Force. Groundbreaking championship by Brittany Force this year in NHRA. First female to take a Top Fuel championship since 1982. Brittany Force, she will be on the show as well. Stacked show today. Amy and I, we got Baja to talk about. Lots of news from action sports racing and a whole lot more coming at you today on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
As certain as the sun rises and sets around the world, OTSFF Group is dedicated to providing flexible, comprehensive, and reliable transportation solutions. Air transportation, ocean freight, ground transportation, or a combination of services. We offer innovative and custom-built packages specifically designed to meet your transportation needs. OTSFF Group has been keeping shipments moving globally for nearly 2 decades. OTSFF Group, flexible logistics services designed for you. More information at OTSFF.com. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here. And, man, we got to jump right into things. We have to talk Baja 1000. This was the 50th anniversary of the Baja 1000 and over 1,100 miles. And I got to tell you, it did not disappoint. Festivity stretching like a week, almost a week down there in Mexico. I know there's some people still making their way back from the event. Looking forward to having both Cameron Steele and Brandon Schueler from Jagged X calling in here in hour number 1 here shortly. But, I got to say, I got to give it up, first of all. Carlos Abdeli Lopez taking the overall victory in under 20 hours, insanely fast time. But Carlos Abdeli Lopez taking the victory, Mexican National winning the 50th anniversary Baja 1000. I don't know, that's got to be pretty exciting for the people of Mexico. I mean, the Lopezes are definitely first-class people, but I don't know, man. Bringing it home from Mexico, Amy, it's got to feel pretty good if you're both the Lopezes and if you're the insane Mexican Baja fans, don't you think?
Well, absolutely. And, coming up as a runner-up the year before, there's a monkey he just had to get off his back. And having that backing of being in your home country, all the fans rooting for you, that does a little extra for the willpower and gives you that little extra foot pedal. You can almost find what we like to call seventh gear on a dirt bike. It's just there's nothing more resonating than having all the fans behind you. So what an incredible experience it would have been at the podium to really watch all the fans and watch that victory.
Yeah, well, and I gotta give him credit. He's a young kid, young 20s at this point. I don't have his exact age. He's got an X Games gold medal to his credit in Stadium Super Trucks. Now he's got a Baja 1000 overall victory. I mean, you want to talk about a kid who you want to look out for in the next 5 to 10 years in the motorsports world. I mean, I don't know how many kids at this age have a Baja 1000 overall victory and an X Games gold medal, but the list has got to be ridiculously short, if not non-existent at this point. So I don't know, man. Carlos Abdeli Lopez doing it to it. I got to give credit to my boy Cameron Steele. We're going to get into it with him here in hour number 1, but coming up second overall, so close, just about an hour down to Carlos Lopez. But, man, it was an insane run by Cameron. Man, those guys did their homework down there, just coming so close. But it was an interesting race, and that, Robbie Gordon, he gets shot out of a cannon. He had some troubles. He ended up finishing. He dropped out. I think the two favorites, Rob McCachran and Andy McMillan, both know how to win in Baja. They're both Baja 1000 winners. Both of them halfway through ended up having problems and dropping out of the race. And from then on, it was like, boom, game wide open. And, Carlos Lopez capitalized, kept it clean, and ended up with the victory. But I want to mention we got so many results. We could talk about the results all day long. But there's one that I want to give a shout-out to. My girl, Kristen Matlock, finishing 6th in Pro UTV. She was in the car for 39 hours, but she Iron Womaned it. 39 hours in the car, having troubles, fighting it off, but Kristen Matlock with the finish. I mean, that's insane, Amy Hood. 39 hours in a Polaris Razor.
That is absolutely incredible. And you kind of taught me a little bit about, the desert experience and the fact that your body almost just goes into shock and your brain takes over. And, that is such a long time. I have a hard time driving 9 hours to get to Minneapolis. All right, never mind 30-something hours. I couldn't imagine, and not only are you just cruising, like you have to be so mentally there in every moment with every turn and every obstacle. You're in the desert. You have to be on point. Like I could not imagine what was going through her mind, and it'd be really cool to, pick her brain and kind of follow that process of from start to middle, to that last couple hours, which is usually one of the hardest, to kind of overcome that hump to the finish line. It'd be really interesting to hear inside her thoughts.
Yeah, we definitely
would get a GoPro. That's just like you can commentate as you drive and get back and watch all the footage of what really goes on in your mind all on your own when you're iron womaning it.
Yeah, we'll have to get Kristen on the show because that's an insane story. We definitely gotta get her back on. We've had her a few times the past couple of months, but definitely worth following up. Another story though, this one comes out of the UTV ranks as well, but we got to talk about this. So everybody knows Robbie Gordon, right? And he's got this UTV program. Sheldon Creed started the race, and Robbie was running his trophy truck, right? So, started the race in the UTV, and Robbie's UTV did an insane job. They were running up there for a victory at one point, had some struggles. Robbie's son, Max Gordon, 9 years old, gets in with 300 miles to the finish. Mad Max spent, as a 9-year-old, he spent, from what I understand, right around 9-10 hours in the UTV. Robbie jumped in because he'd already finished and drove the thing. A 9-year-old drove 300 miles in Baja to the finish, spent almost 10 hours. I don't know many kids that you can hold their attention for almost 10 hours. I mean, this kid, not making a mistake, drove 300 miles to the finish. Tip of the cap to Mad Max Gordon. They officially didn't finish because they timed out, but I got to give that kid credit. How many 9-year-olds? You deal with kids all the time in your moto. How can you keep their attention for 10 hours in a race car, Amy?
I mean, these kids are just diehards, and we talk about the little moto kids. They can go laps and I'm tired and they just want to keep going, but it's really cool to see kids with interests like that who can find their passions at such a young age and stay focused and not want to go look at a video game. But it's really unique, and I love that. Like, I love hearing stories like that. It's just I think that's kind of the makings of a future champion right there. Yeah,
well, and he's got the Gordon blood. I mean, Robbie Gordon's son is, grandpa was the legendary Baja Bob Gordon. I mean, his uncle is Ryan Hunter-Reay, the IndyCar champion, or Indy 500 champion. I mean, his sister's race or his aunt's race. I mean, this kid has got racing in his blood, but
you never know what you're going to get. I mean, the kid might like horseback riding or, playing chess. Like it's always hit and miss, and I think growing up in a family of racing, you really you're built on that legacy of true passion, not just wanting to go out and win and prove points, and it's just what you love and what and that's the cool thing about racing. It really is generations of families brought together by a common goal and go play out in the desert for 36 hours. I mean, no big deal. Let's get our 9-year-old to drive forever. It's awesome. It's really unique, and I don't think you get any other cool stories like that other than in motorsport.
Yeah. Well, and we gotta go to break here shortly, but I gotta give it up for the motorcycles, right? So Francisco Arenado taking the victory, Mark Samuels in second, but the drama around the finish line. What's that?
Yeah. Little controversy in the motorcycles.
So I haven't got totally to the bottom of it. Samuels actually finished first. Well, and it's a team. I say Samuels, he's rider of record. I don't know who was on the bike at the finish. They'd actually finished. They've got the podium. They were doing like a wheelie, and they were hot rodding to the finish, celebrating their victory. Bike went out from under him. clipped a couple of media people that had to be sent to the hospital. Because of that, Score assessed a penalty, a time penalty. So they ended up getting knocked down to second. Arenado, who had a phenomenal run, ended up taking the victory. But, man, I don't know. That's one of those. That one's got to be a tough one to swallow, Amy.
Yeah, I mean, I got to look into it a little bit more. They were told to have a reckless incident at the finish line ramp. I mean, if you're going to win this giant race and then pop a wheelie and smoke some media people, maybe not the best idea. But I hear there's a little bit more controversy kind of going on with some GPS software that was changing some lines and some courses, and it was a little bit of a cluster mess. But I mean, that's what you're going to get on two wheels. They're all just some reckless wild ones.
Oh, yeah. And that one this one I think is, we're going to be talking about the next week or two, once things get ironed out from down there in Baja. But, man, we got more Baja 1000 to talk today for sure. We're just touching the tip of the iceberg. But Brandon Schueler from Jagged X, your Polaris RZR UTV overall winner, he's coming up after the break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZ, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Want the latest from Jim Beaver and Amy Hood? Follow at Jim Beaver 15 and at Amy Hood 71 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood, joined here on the line by Baja 1000 overall UTV winner, factory Polaris RZR driver, Brandon Schueler. How's everything going, Brandon?
Everything's going great, man. We're on cloud nine still, so and we couldn't be happier. So, absolutely, everything's going awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say, it can't really be bad right now, right? I mean, if you guys are Jagged X, things definitely can't be bad bringing home the Baja 1000 overall UTV win. So, but I guess it's definitely something to be thankful for this week of Thanksgiving, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, man, we've been trying to do this for 5 years now, and we've taken a couple second place. Finished every time, but first place is something that we've all been shooting for, and we have the team to do it this year finally. So, like I said, we're loving it, and perfect time for Thanksgiving. So let's enjoy it while it's here.
Yeah, well, and let's talk about that. I mean, because you guys, you're one of the few teams that the factory Razor teams. You guys run both Score and you run Best of the Desert. I mean, what's the difference for you guys? And I know the difference in approach, but explain to the audience. I mean, how do you approach the Mint 400 versus the point-to-point Baja 1000? A lot of people just see it as off-road racing, right? But you and I know those are. Your approach to those two races are completely different. I mean, how are you guys approaching Baja versus, say, the Mint 400?
No, absolutely. The races, every race is different entirely. It goes down, mileage, and it's not just mileage. Obviously the car is one of the biggest factors of it. We started with almost a brand new car. I mean, I replaced just about everything before this race. So that's a huge part of that. But it comes down to the trucks too, the trucks and the team. You got to make sure that you have the right people in the right places at all times. There really are in Baja. There's no set pit. We're thankful enough to be sponsored by BFG, and they put on a great pit program that we were able to utilize for majority of the race. So we kind of had a concept of what we were doing and where we were gonna put fuel in the car and make sure we had people at all times. Try and get the most coverage throughout that 1,100 miles. But as far as the difference between the Baja 1000 and the Mint 400, it's not just the car; it's the entire team. It's your homework that goes into it. You go into the Mint 400 and you're kind of balls out to be able to run the race as fast as you can go. And the 1000 is a little bit more of a marathon run where you kind of got to pace yourself, keep the car together, and make sure you get to the finish line, and you try and have a competitive advantage over everyone else. So it's a totally different game, but we love it, and we're going to do it again. So there's something to be said about that.
Yeah, well,
in the last couple of years, I'm just curious. In the last couple of years, like I understand that marathon, it's a lot of planning, a lot of technical and technical planning going involved, but over the course of the years, what was different? What was that key factor that was different this year in your planning phases, that allowed you to get that win? Was there any kind of big significant, you know what, we got to try things this way from your past years of kind of trial and error?
Not even so much that as it was that we finally got our car dialed in. Our car really was flawless. We had two minor mechanicals. We got two flat tires in 1,100 miles, so no broken parts. And like I said, the right team, the right driver combinations in the right areas. We had Mitch Guthrie in the car from the start. He's able to push really hard, get Matt Parks the car in the lead. And Matt Parks had a couple battles here and there, just kind of back and forth with a couple guys, coming into a pit and, getting passed by someone, having to pass them back on course or passing them when they have to stop. So like I said, the homework that goes into it as far as the logistics go are able to keep you going and keep you in front of the pack. By the time I got in the car, I got the easy end of it. I just had to keep the car out front. I didn't really have to contend with anyone except for a couple buggies and trucks and stuff. So, like I said, as far as years past go, we've had problems and we've been a lot closer with guys. I know the last point-to-point race we finished, I think, within 7 minutes in 1,200 miles of first place. So I mean, we were battling those guys right from the get-go, but we also contended with a rollover at about mile 450. And a bunch of broken parts along the way that, that just Baja surfaces for you that you don't intend on having, but Baja brings out the best in all your broken parts, and that's something we got to deal with. So.
Yeah. Well, and talking about UTV racing as a whole, I mean, I'm new to this class. I mean, I guess this year, and I've got a different project where we're just kind of, doing more media type of thing and exposing people to what, you guys are doing, the factory racers and things like that. But what's the biggest change you've seen? I mean, because you guys have been here, with Polaris Razor from almost, virtually the start. I look at these cars now, Brandon, and, the technology that's going into it. And I mean, the competition level, I mean, there's not an easy win anywhere in UTV racing. And I just see the limits that are being pushed on the builds and things like that. I mean, how have you seen this thing morph, and where do you think we're going in the next couple of years?
Oh man, this industry has changed so drastically. And like I said, we really kind of have been in since the beginning. Our business kind of started in 2004 as just an aftermarket accessory shop, and we kind of got involved in the racing, just kind of didn't really know what we were doing, never really done any racing before, and just kind of try our hand in it and make sure that we're involved in every aspect of the industry that we could, and we caught the bug big time. We started out racing and averaging almost 25 miles an hour, and we're up in the 40s to 50 miles an hour at most of our races anymore. Yeah. So, I mean, the platform itself has changed drastically to be able to raise those numbers. The cars are getting so fast, and they're so much more reliable race to race that the competition is getting out of control. It used to be if you finished the race, you won the race, and that's not the case anymore. Yeah. So if you have any problems whatsoever, I mean, you're sometimes anyways, you're out of contention for that podium spot. But like I said, it's a blast, and we're definitely excited to see where the future takes us. And like I said, let's make them faster. Let's get up there with the one cars and the trophy trucks, and let's see if we can overall race in a UTV. That would be absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Well,
I really do think that the Polaris Razor is kind of at the forefront of evolution, and in the motorsports realm, like, over a dirt bike, it takes years for anything to get changed on the CR250F. But, with just in the last few short years, like how much the Polaris Razor has expanded, and all its new technology and development has just really pushed it, just excelled it kind of to the top here. And it's kind of like every year you're just waiting to see what they're going to come up with next, because they're evolving so quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. The UTV industry is in no way, shape, or form stagnant at all, and that's what we do love about it. Every year, it's and the manufacturers are pushing each other too, but the racers are pushing the manufacturers, and that's where we come in. Is we're out there pushing the limits of these vehicles, trying to figure out what the weak points are and how we can make them better for these guys, and they're taking all that stuff in. They're listening to all that, and they're trying to make the best product they can for the consumers. And like I said, that's huge. That's what's making this such an active market, and making it so exciting.
Yeah, well, I agree. And I know even with Polaris, this past year, you and I, we were at the dealer show together, but not necessarily exterior, but interior. I mean, what they're doing with the electronics and dynamics and and the systems that go in under the hood. I mean, the car may look the same on the outside, but you and I both know, I mean, there's a massive difference from a Polaris Razor 3 or 4 years ago to now, just with the technology they've done with ride command and dynamics and things like that underneath the hood.
Absolutely. They're putting so much technology into these things. The cars are getting so much smarter than we give them credit for. And it's really improving all aspects of the ride, of the quality of the ride, and everything about it, how the car handles, how the car performs. It's incredible. It's, like I said, I'm so glad to be a part of it.
Yeah. So what's next for you guys in Jagged X? I mean, the end of this year, we got 2018 coming up. I mean, what are the plans for you guys?
So I've got a race here in 2 weeks. I've just got home late last night. I'm back at work already, and we've got a race. We've got the Pahrump race for Best in Desert, the last race of the season, that we're also in contention for points. I think we're sitting third in points uncorrected right now. Mitch Guthrie, that raced with us in at the 1,000, actually just beaten us in points. And then another guy, Phil Blurton, he's up there quite a ways in points. So we gotta get the car torn apart, put back together, and we got to race not this weekend but next. So we got a lot of work cut out for us in the next few days, and so we're not going to stop.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to call in, my friend. Congratulations on the win, man. It was a massive one, man. Tell your pops I guess I owe him a drink the next time we're together.
Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate it, guys. Like I said, we're on cloud nine. Couldn't be happier about everything that's going on. And thank you guys for having me on the show. And like I said, we'll cheers next time we see each other.
All right. Thanks a lot, Brandon. Take it easy, my friend.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Alrighty.
All right, that was Brandon Schueler with Jagged X Racing, your 2017 Baja 1000 overall UTV winner. And, man, him and his dad, Bill, just definitely good people. Definitely give them a follow, Jagged X, on social media. But we've got more Baja to come. We got Cameron Steele coming up after the break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Life is all about sound. The sound of sports. The sound at the racetrack. And the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, waiting on your second overall winner, Cameron Steele, to call in. And just like that, Cameron Steele joining us on the line. Welcome to the show, Cameron Steele, man. How's everything been, buddy?
Everything's great, Jimmy. How are you doing? How are you guys doing?
Oh man, we're doing good, but you kept me on pins and needles all last weekend, man. I gotta say, second overall. I know it's not what you wanted, but I gotta tell you, it was one hell of a showing, buddy.
No, I agree. It's not what we wanted, but at the same time, we worked our plan perfectly, executed exactly what we went to do, and really there was a couple little misses along the way. But for the most part, the team's super stoked with second. Last time we ran the Peninsula, we were third overall, so we've gotten a little bit better. But I'm just really proud of the guys. We put out 2 trucks that were ready for top 5, and I think we proved that with a second and a 9th place finish. Little alternator issue got in the way of the second truck getting in that top 5, but overall, just a great effort by everybody involved with the Desert Assassin.
Yeah, well, and I know you guys, and I know you spend so much time in Baja. You guys do your homework like none other. I mean, you live for these Peninsula runs. I mean, you and I have talked before, but you're continuing to learn every single year. I mean, what now what it takes to win a Baja 1000. I mean, what's it going to take, here the next Peninsula run in a couple of years to put it all together and take that top spot?
Well, I think the thing it's mostly going to take is a rethinking of the data. So what we did is, usually I don't want to share with everybody, but, it's a few years before the next Peninsula run. Hopefully they'll all forget. But we took all the data over the last few Peninsula runs. We looked at what the trophy trucks were capable of. We looked at the speeds, and we engineered a speed that we wanted to carry and places where we wanted to carry certain speeds and certain percentages of capability of the truck. And really came down to the fact that we left, I would call 5% on the table in the middle part of the race, and that put us a little bit behind the leaders. I mean, the biggest problem with trophy truck right now is the vehicles are so capable, right? And we can go so fast, as you know, Jimmy. If you go 90% of capability in the trophy truck all day, you're going to win by an hour or so. But that's if you can keep the truck alive. So when we got to the middle of the race and we were 6th on the road, historical stats will tell you that at the middle part of the race, there's between 5 and 7. At Loretto, there's between 4 and 5. And when you get down to the Constitution whoops, there's usually 3 of them. And so we played all those percentages and odds. And I don't want to sound like we were playing it totally safe and mellow the whole way, because we weren't. We had attack sessions where we wanted to put ourselves in better positions. But at the end of the day, really what we did is we misengineered by a small percentage that gave the other teams, 30 minutes on us. Another 20 minutes were given to the other teams by me hitting a hole that I pre-ran. I knew it was there, and decided this was a hole we could hit at 90 miles an hour, no problem, fly right over. But it ended up, maybe because we just took a full load of fuel, but it ended up kicking us up and almost over the handlebars. We were real close to endoing the truck, but I smashed all the lights and broke the bumper off the front of the truck. And miraculously, the lights still work, so we could stop for 20 minutes or 15 minutes, really, and fix the lights. And the fix was duct tape and zip tie the lights to the inside bumper. If you can believe that. I had no idea at the time what they did, but when we got to the finish line, I saw it, and I was like, wow, that's amazing that we raced on that.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But
it's wild.
Yeah, you do what you got to do in Baja to get to the finish, right? I mean, it's just kind of it. It's survival to an extent, right?
Oh,
yeah, for sure. And Baja threw a little curveball at us with, we knew the fog was going to be there.
Yeah.
I didn't expect 2.5 hours of fog. And so my systems that we had in place for that, we failed on. I really felt like we gave up time there when we could have made time if we had been on our program the way we knew we should have been. And I think that we just failed a little bit there. So, but the fog was brutal. I've been racing Baja a long time. I've never seen as much fog or as thick a fog. And I know everybody says that every time they race.
Yeah.
That it's never been that gnarly before. But man, what a draining experience to. I mean, basically you're driving into a wall for 2 hours. And you can't see. My arm was like a windshield wiper on my visor, like never stopped for 2 hours. It was absolutely crazy.
That's nuts. And, and talk about the course because, Score laid out, for the 50th anniversary, a pretty brutal course. I mean, how does this one stack up to the other Baja 1000s? And then I know at the end, I mean, it's, it's one of those, it's, 1,100 plus miles. And then they, being that their Score, they throw some whoops at you for the last, 100 miles of the race, right? Just, a dagger in the heart right at the end. But I mean, how did this race stack up with some of the ones in the past, man?
I don't think it was one of the harder ones. I think from a logistics standpoint, it was pretty straightforward. But there were some tough sections, and it's getting tougher and tougher because you have so many people pre-running so many times it gets speed up. What used to be 40 miles of whoops in Constitution has turned into 90 miles of whoops because Lopez Mateos right before it has all become a big whoop section as well. So, it's hard on the vehicles. I feel really bad for the Ironman bike guys that get to, race mile 900 and all of a sudden they got to ride 80 miles of whoops. But I would say there were some tough segments. The silt was real small and almost really non-existent for the trophy trucks. I know that for the limited class cars for the back, they had more problems, but I would say it was a pretty straightforward, although brutal and tough. I think that was a good race course because it gave you a lot of different looks. I really applaud Score for getting us off the highway more times. They added new segments to get us off Zoo Road up by Morelia Junction. They added a new segment to get us off the highway down by Gonzaga. They added a new segment outside of San Ignacio. And I thought all those were really great additions to keep us off the highway or out of speed zones more often. But I really think that at the end of the day, we would have been much closer if our speed limiters worked. We had some kind of computer failure in the car, so we ran pretty far below the speed limit to make sure we didn't get any penalties, and I think that was also a contributing factor. So, there's a few things in there, misengineering, speed limiter not working, and me almost yarding the truck. Those three things really are what took us and put us behind. At the time, it was us trying to race up behind Abdali, Luke, and Jesse. And Luke had a failure that put him back a ways. And then Jesse, I'm not exactly sure what happened to Jesse, but, we kind of knew with those two trucks pushing so hard that something could happen. So, again, we kind of stuck to our plan because that was what we went into the race with. And usually we kind of end up throwing it and going for it at the end. And that's what happened to the Baja 500. We worked our plan exactly perfect, and we came out on Mike Sky Rancho Road almost either in the lead or right near the lead. And I decided that I wanted to pass Robbie. The racer donkey and me came out as we got below Diablo Dry Lake, and I went off plan. And I went for the attack to try to get past Robbie because I didn't want to count on him to get close enough to Andy for the win at the end. And I ended up, we ended up flatting and making bad mistakes trying to use lines that we had and ended up in the bushes. And so I went off plan. So the thing that I learned the most from this year and the engineering that my team, Cody and Mike Kraft put together with us, was to stick to plan. And honestly, we stuck right to it, even down to the very last segment where we did attack. Even though we knew we were too far back to win, we still gave it what we went to put into it, just so we could see it. And we almost nailed our mile per hour on the number, even with the stop. So I knew it was going to be a little faster than what we originally predicted, but it's a bummer to be a little bit back, but at the same time, gratifying to know that we could actually work our plan to exactly what we wanted to do.
Yeah, well, and I think too, I loved seeing you and Pat Dean team up because I think Pat is one of those guys like he's never been in our small circle he's a splash name, but to the outside world he doesn't have that name like Robbie Gordon or BJ Baldwin, but like Dean, I mean he's one of the best in off road as far as I'm concerned. This dude has talent for days, and I was so stoked to see you team up with him. And I mean I think it's one of those where you got to tip the cap because he put in a hell of a run there for you. You know what I mean? In the segments he drove too.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think Pat and I have some huge similarities. I mean, we're both what you would call, our family drivers. We came through our family support into the sport in the 80s. And to be totally honest, I mean, we're 40-something losers, right? Now we're in our 40s, and we haven't won the Baja 1000 overall. It's something that's very frustrating to us. So I think we have a kinship with that. And I totally agree that Pat is an amazing driver. He's been driving with us. A lot of people don't know this, for 6 years now. And he's been really the anchor for our team in Baja. And, usually I start and finish. But a couple of years ago, Cody and I got tired inside the truck, and we started discussing, what if Pat starts? And when I got really sick at Vegas to Reno, I got some horrible food poisoning. Pat ended up qualifying and starting, and he led most of the first half of the race. We're like, well, I don't know why we wouldn't just have Pat race to start. And so it changed our plan a little bit. But, Pat's phenomenal, and trust him 100%. I mean, he and Bobby Decoy both drove our trucks to the tee, to the plan, and brought perfect trucks to the second drivers. And our plan was, as you saw, we entered 2 trucks under my name. My plan was to get in whatever truck got there with the best chance of winning, and that was the 16. The 14 lost an alternator, and the only fail that I can find in the team so far is that we had the wrong drill out on the spare alternator underneath the truck. So that was our fault. It cost us an extra 30 minutes to get an alternator out there. But those guys just did a great job, and they were on pace for top 5. And that was our goal, was to come through the middle on pace for top 5, and let it work out at the bottom and race hard at the very end. And I really commend Pat, because he's come in and done a great job. And this year he got a lot more wheel time with us, and I think that really also gave him a lot more confidence.
Yeah. Well, and I got to ask you, and you are one of the few teams. I mean, there's a handful of guys, running a team that's driven on sponsor dollars. I mean, you've been around this industry for a long time. I mean, how do you feel about the health of off-road, as a whole? I mean, getting those sponsor dollars is never easy, but, how do you feel about the package that we're presenting as off-road right now? I mean, and how is it for you, a guy that's runs it like a business? I mean, how is it for you, approaching these companies now? I mean, is it getting a little bit easier? Is the sell easier than it was, say, 5-10 years ago?
I think it is. I think it's easier. I think there's more teams that are capable, which has spread it out a little bit, but we're fortunate to be strong both on results and with media. But I think overall the industry is stronger. For me personally, it's been a little bit of a struggle. We're trying to basically raise $1 million budget out of sponsorships, and it's not easy to do. So you have to really be on your game. And I think as far as the strength of the media in our sport, the Score Series has a good TV package. Best in the Desert has a solid TV package. King of the Hammers has a good TV package. We have 5 of our own TV shows. The Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series is pumping out great shows. So I think off-road is in front of a lot of people, and there's a lot of information, and I think there's a lot of hype around both NORA and the Baja 1000 with the 50th anniversary. So I think it's a good place for off-road racing, and I think the vibe is alive. And I think the sponsors are paying attention and paying the money to get us to the races. But, anytime you're sponsor-funded 100%, it's really difficult because, hey, you could always use another transmission. You could always, it's like for the first time ever this last year, we were able to have a second primary motor for the 16. And, we've been rotating off rebuilds, and, that's a huge stress reliever. And, we have 2 trophy trucks, so we need to have the 2 primary trannies plus 4 spares on the peninsula, plus 5 or 6 third member spares, plus, 18 drive shafts, plus, there's so many things you can add to the roster. You can do without, but, you can always have one more chase truck. We had, I think, 22 on the peninsula. There's always more you can have. Pressure pros at every pit. Yeah. So these are all things that cost money, and having 90-plus people on the peninsula alone for weeks at a time in some cases, the hotel, food, and all that expense is just staggering.
Yeah, it's definitely overwhelming at times. But, man, congrats again, Cameron, on second overall, buddy. Appreciate you calling into the show, and, looking forward to watching you, what's to come for you and the Desert Assassins.
What's to come for me is Lucas Oil voiceover right now, and I'm trying to make some money so I can pay for the circus. But really what's coming for me is a time of reflection, figure out what we're doing. We've spent 2 full years building that plan for the Baja 1000 and working on exercising that, all the way down to doing a full run-through at the NORA 1000 for the vehicle. And so it's just taken a lot out of us. we're going to regroup. I'm going to talk to my wife and my daughter and see what they want to do. And, it's kind of unknown right now. I expect that you'll see us back racing in Baja next year. But it also comes down to the sponsors, what they want to do and if they're going to step up and make it happen. One thing I tell you right now I'm not going to do, I've been very committed to racing at the very highest level of the sport with the best equipment, the best team, the best pressure, the pressure pros, the best trannies, best motors. I'm never going to go out and race without all that stuff. So the only way I'm going to do it is if the sponsors say we're going to do it, make sure we can do it at the highest level. And if that's the case and my wife agrees, then we'll come back. If not, we'll figure out what else we're going to do.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan, buddy. Well, I appreciate the time, man. We got to go to a commercial break, Cameron, but we'll definitely talk soon and have a great Thanksgiving.
All right, happy Thanksgiving to you guys, and just God bless and always praying for everybody's safety. So hopefully it was smooth for everyone. Have a great day, bud.
All right, thanks, Cameron.
Thank you.
All right.
And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
You've seen their movies.
Man, I'm gonna be late for work again. That's the fifth time I've been late this week. It's only Tuesday, man.
You've probably heard a song or two.
Here's an extra one. Don't give it to your children.
Now, don't miss your chance to see this Grammy Award-winning comic duo, Cheech and Chong, at the Blue Water Resort and Casino.
Who is it?
Dave, man, open up.
Dave? Dave's not here.
Tickets on sale now for Cheech and Chong performing live Saturday, January 27th on the Blue Water Amphitheater stage. Doors open at 3 p.m. Show starts at 4 p.m. Arizona time. Advanced general admission tickets $45. VIP tickets just $65. General admission seating can bring your own chairs. Must be 21 or older to attend the show. Visit BlueWaterFun.com or purchase now at the Blue Water Casino gift shop for Cheech and Chong live.
Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Getting ready to kick off hour number 2 here after another short break. But you know what? We couldn't do this show without our amazing partners, and one of those is our friends at GenuinePolarisParts.com. You know, hunting season is getting underway, and there's no better way to get your Polaris off-road vehicle ready than with GenuinePolarisParts.com. You're looking for guns, boots, mounts, camo enclosures, or even a dog kennel for your hunting companion? GenuinePolarisParts.com has what it takes, and it's easy to use at their website with category your guys' parts and accessories online and online ordering forms. You don't forget about the oil change kits either. They're readily in stock and delivered right to your doorstep. Of course, if you're looking for genuine Polaris parts, then go to genuinepolarisparts.com. Assurance and dependability is in the name. They make it easy and stress-free by having all the diagrams right there at your fingertips. Once you narrow down your search, you'll see a list of diagrams that will visually allow you to see the parts you need to be replaced, which eliminates the headache of second-guessing your parts or trying to explain which parts you need at the counter at the dealership. Go to genuinepolarisparts.com/JimBeaver, and you'll be able to redeem a special offer that's exclusive only to listeners of this show. Again, it's genuinepolarisparts.com/JimBeaver. You'll get your Polaris parts delivered directly to your door with genuinepolarisparts.com. And we will be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, and kicking off hour number 2. But you know what? We got Robert Hight from John Force Racing, Brittany Force, both of them calling into the show. Amy and I, we got some big news to talk about, but I want to talk real quick about Black Friday. It's coming up, and we got a couple of amazing partners with this show that got some Black Friday specials. Obviously, first off, we got our friends at Dirtfish Rally School. They got 2 really fun things going on. First off, Black Friday through Cyber Monday, 25% off all classes and gift certificates. Can't go wrong with 25% off at Dirtfish. But they're also giving back. Use the hashtag #ThanksForGiving this Thursday during Thanksgiving, 24 hours prior to Black Friday. If you use that, when you post to Instagram, 4 lucky winners will get a free Dirtfish 3-day program. Your information will be drawn from donations of over $200 to our designated charities or something similar. If you haven't... or something similar. So, you want to Dirtfish, check them out on their social media. Use that hashtag #ThanksForGiving, and you know what? You're going to be able to win a free 3-day class there at Dirtfish Rally School. And then our good friends at Casey Highlights, they got some stuff going on as well. Casey Highlights, 15% off and 2-day shipping currently on their website prior to Black Friday, and then they got Black Friday specials going as well, but they're kicking off Black Friday early. And if you use the hashtag BeaverSwag, you're also going to get some freebies in your shopping cart when you check out, sent directly to you. So, man, we got a lot of partners getting ready for Black Friday. I don't know, had you doing any Black Friday, Cyber Monday shopping? You getting anything dialed in for Christmas yet?
I am. I'm actually going to maybe utilize the online shopping. I've never been a big online shopper because you never know what you're going to get. I usually have to pay in American if I'm shopping in the U.S., and the conversion rate is horrible. I end up spending 3 times as much money. It's just a disaster for us Canadians. But I'm always concerned that I'm going to order something, and it's going to come either 3 sizes too big or 3 sizes too small. And then I'm stuck having to sew it in the garage and make it fit me. So I don't know. I'd rather just kind of check out the stores and the malls and try stuff on. But I'm not a big shopper, Jim. Like, I love my sponsors. I get hooked up with tees and, all the Ethicas I've ever need. And, I got Bell T-shirts coming out of my yin yang. So I'm good. If I get free stuff, I'll just run it till there's holes.
All right. Well, we're going to be... What's that?
I'm not very fashionable, okay?
Full-on moto chick there. But we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Get ready to get in the holiday spirit. American Idol Season 5 winner Taylor Hicks. Live in concert Saturday, December 9th. Inside the showroom at the Blue Water Resort and Casino. Doors open at 5 p.m. Show starts at 6 p.m. Arizona time. General admission tickets $30. VIP tickets just $40. Tickets on sale now. Visit BlueWaterFun.com or purchase inside the casino gift shop. Don't miss the Taylor Hicks Christmas Show.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Want the latest from Jim Beaver and Amy Hood? Follow at JimBeaver15 and at Amy Hood 71 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, and hour number 2 in full effect. We've got Robert Hight, Brittany Force coming up. I guess brought to you by our good friends at Optimus Starters and John Force Racing. But anyways, Amy, I know we got a lot to talk about in this segment, but you got a little bit of news there at your fingertips. What do you got? Some moto news, I guess, right?
Oh, yeah. What I love about the off-season is a lot of racers kind of go all over the continent and kind of own their skills, I guess, coming up to Anaheim. But, yeah, we have the Australian Supercross going down in Down Under, and then one of my favorites, Paris, the Bercy Supercross. And it was really interesting how they do it over there. It's a little different format, but, yeah, with some of the top riders coming out of the U.S., obviously Marvin Musquin, Zach Osborne, Jeremy Martin, R.J. Hampshire. But the real kind of stars, I think, were Dean Wilson and Cole Seeley. So, of course, Marvin Musquin, king of Bercy, pulling it through for all of his French fans. I would not put it past Marvin to be able to pull that one off. But Dean Wilson and Cole Seeley actually were the only 2 riders to be able to beat Marvin in the sprint. So they have a sprint 1, sprint 2, and then the main event type deal. And they have it on Saturday and Sunday, and then Sunday is crowned the king of Bercy. So it's a little bit of a different format, switches it up. But, yeah, it was I did not see Dean Wilson being able to put moves on Marvin Muscan. So that just goes to show that Dean Wilson is back on top. We've talked about it year after year, Jim, that, if there's one guy that we want to see, it's been Adam Cincerello and Dean Wilson. They kind of fell off the radar, been challenged with injuries, but, man, I think the guy is back. And Dean also killed it in Australia Supercross, winning the main event, and then he was runner-up the night before for Jason Anderson. So this guy has been putting in the work, and, now that Dungey's gone, Marvin is the new king of Supercross, and Marvin is going to be setting that pace. And I really think that these last couple of years, getting comfortable on the 450, this is going to be his time to shine. And he is the golden boy, the golden child now of the factory KTM team. And, I think we're going to see a bright, bright future this year for Dean Wilson. Hopefully he stays healthy.
Yeah, Dean has always been impressive. It's like you said, he's just got to stay healthy, put it all together. Lots happening in Moto. I know next couple of weeks heading up to A1, we're definitely going to be talking a lot of motocross. Some other big news happening in the world of racing. Obviously, we had the NASCAR finale. Martin Truex taking that. Got to give him a big shout out for taking that. It was actually an amazing race. I don't watch a lot of NASCAR. I watched that. It went down to the wire. Literally, it was not a photo finish, but went down to the wire. You can't ask for much more. Took the win in the championship. Dale Earnhardt Jr. retiring. Matt Kenseth retiring. Danica Patrick announcing her retirement. She's coming back next year. 2 races, doing the Daytona 500 and the Indy 500. I think everybody's pumped to see her back in an Indy car, and then she's calling it a career. Amy, you are a female racer. What has Danica Patrick done for women in motorsports? She wasn't the first, but it seems like she was kind of one that helped this new generation of female racers kind of come in. How are you feeling about the whole Danica situation?
I've never actually had the opportunity to meet her, so I've never spoken with her face to face or, conversed and really got to know her as a person. But as an outsider and as a female in my own realm, and like you said, she's not been the first. There's been many women, making their mark in a male-dominated industry. But I think the difference for Danica is that, all the media that is behind NASCAR, she really was trying to break that barrier in what you would call the paparazzi world. Every camera was on her. It's almost like, these young Disney stars trying to break through, they're getting to Hollywood and real Hollywood, and TMZ just, constantly at their throats. That's what it was for Danica, and that's what's really different about what we didn't see years ago is she is under this spotlight, and people are critiquing her at every single angle and wanting her and waiting for her to fail. So her adversity and being able to push through all that and all the crap that she has gone through and dealt with, it was really obvious and was really out there, very exposed for all of us to watch her journey and watch her struggles, and not just from her perspective, but from her industry and from the media and from the naysayers and the lovers. You really got this full circle of what she had to deal with and endure, and her successes and how she prevailed, and the name and legacy that she left for women and not just women but the underdog, the minority and whatever may be. And I applaud her willfulness and her determination, and you need to be a certain kind of woman to compete and dominate in this type of industry. It takes a very special breed, and I think that she's, set that mold and really kind of broke that glass ceiling for everybody else. And I know, talking to my other friends who are on the four-wheel side of the world, and everybody looks up to Danica, and, whether you agree with her career choices or not, she went out there, she was confident in her abilities and what she had to offer, and did the steps that was necessary for her to do the career that she wanted. And I applaud that. And, you can't take that away from her. I hope to see her around a little bit more. It's different. I understand it's a bit easier to retire at a younger age. In that world, it's expensive. It's intense. I want to be 78 years old and ride a dirt bike and be an old grandma. But, hopefully we'll see her career evolve and, see where she goes next, whether it's, a more business side with the NASCAR media. I'm not too sure, but whatever she does, she's going to be successful. Maybe she wants to settle down and have babies and buy some goats and have a farm. Like, you go, girl, you've earned it. Whatever you may do, I support you. I've supported your career, and I mean, who are we to judge anybody's choices and what, how they choose to live out their dreams? And I just support that girl because she is tough and she kills it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and one thing I got to give her credit for is she's very smart, and if you're a professional athlete or race car driver, your days are numbered. She's very smart in that she's got her hand in a bunch of different cookie jars, and I say that in the best way possible, but, I mean, I think she's got, like, a clothing line. She's into the yoga stuff, and, like, she's really, like, diversified herself where she's got business interests outside of racing, so when she did step away, she still got continuous income. She took her celebrity stature and parlayed that into business involvements that are going to be lifelong income for her, and she's very smart in that aspect, and I applaud her for that because I think more drivers need to take the clue and do that, so when they do retire.
And I will have to say though, there in this generation, because I haven't followed NASCAR. I don't know what went on before. I don't know what's going to go on in the future. But I will stand by my quote on this, that Danica was hands down probably the most scrutinized and picked and prodded, and one of the most the toughest athletes of our current generation in motorsports that probably had to endure the most crap.
Absolutely.
And the most skepticism, and that's why I applaud her for still going out and accomplishing her goal for all the crap she had to deal with. We can talk about this on the podcast because I gotta watch what I say.
All right, well, definitely we're going to take a short break. We come back, we got Robert Hight followed up by Brittany Force coming up on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
You've seen their movies.
Man, I'm gonna be late for work again. That's the 5th time I've been late this week. It's only Tuesday, man.
You've probably heard a song or two.
Here's an extra one. Don't give it to your chillers.
Now, don't miss your chance to see this Grammy Award-winning comic duo, Cheech and Chong, at the Blue Water Resort and Casino.
Who is it?
Dave, man, open up.
Dave? Dave's not here.
Tickets on sale now for Cheech and Chong performing live Saturday, January 27th on the Blue Water Amphitheater stage. Doors open at 3 p.m. Show starts at 4 p.m. Arizona time. Advanced general admission tickets $45. VIP tickets just $65. General admission seating can bring your own chairs. Must be 21 or older to attend the show. Visit BlueWaterFun.com or purchase now at the Blue Water Casino gift shop for Cheech and Chong live.
Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver joined here on the phone by Robert Hight with John Force Racing, your 2017 Funny Car champion. I don't know, it's got to be a pretty darn good week to be a member of the John Force Racing family, right?
Unbelievable, actually. And we didn't dream of this even 2-3 weeks ago that we could really pull this off, but we did. So we're enjoying it, and it really didn't set into me until I got back here to the shop in Indiana, and you walk through the shop and you just see how excited all the employees are, everybody that works in the shop. It's a big accomplishment for this team. Given the last few seasons have been a little rough.
Yeah, well, and, that's always a good thing. Only one person can really go into the off-season on a high note. You guys, obviously you and then Brittany, you've got the Funny Car and the Top Fuel program. It's definitely some off-season momentum for you guys.
Oh, boy. It's, if you can't win the championship, you always want to win that last race of the year and, end the season on a high note. But to end it winning a championship in both classes is pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your program. It's been since 2009 since you've won a Funny Car championship. A lot of guys don't get one. You've got two now, but I know this one was really emotional from you watching on TV and things like that. How does this one stack up against that first one back in 2009?
Well, honestly, I thought I would have another one before now. When you win one, then it's like, well, you can do it. But I think it just kind of proves how hard it is, and lots of good competition. Also, I'm getting over a cold, so excuse me.
No, totally understandable.
Anyway, just winning a race out here is tough, So when you can win a championship, it's very gratifying, and this one was a little different. It went down a little different. All I really needed to do on the first one was qualify at Pomona, and I won in 2009. This one here, we had to go round for round with Ron Capps, and then all the drama that led up to it with, qualifying in the number 15 spot on our last attempt and qualifying, just barely got in, having to race Tim Wilkerson first round. There was a lot of sleepless nights this past weekend, and Caps, they're champions for a reason. They're a great team. So it was very, very tough and stressful. You did not want to let your team down. So it was this one was tougher. But now that it's all said and done, I think the next one will be easier because of all this, and probably won't be as much pressure. But I think this one is very, very special.
Yeah, well, and you guys as a team, I know you had mentioned the last couple of years are rough. You guys have had a big change, not only in sponsorship changes, but, obviously, moving to Chevrolet. There's been a lot of changes in John Force Racing the past couple of years. It's got to have you, both as a driver and the president, really excited about the future. Do you feel like, you guys have hit that turning point now where it's like, all right, now we've got it figured out again. Not that you ever didn't have it figured out, but do you feel like, you guys have kind of finally turned that corner and it's like, all right, man, we can see the light at the end of the tunnel now. We're in the light.
You're exactly right. The last 3 years been a lot of hard work put into rebuilding John Force Racing, financially, sponsorship side, and, on the people side, because this is really all about people and having the right people in play to get the job done. So John's been very good at that, getting the right people together, and we're even making some more changes this winter to make us even better.
Yeah. Well, and talking about the right people involved, I want to go back because your story I can relate to, but I love your story because I get hit with a lot of questions from listeners and fans of mine in racing, and it's like, how do you get where you're at? And a lot of people, I just say, hey, volunteer with a race team, doesn't matter how small, just get involved. But your story is so unique in that, you literally started out on the ground floor of John Force Racing. Do you feel like that's added to your career now because you have seen every step of the way what it takes to run a race program because you've worked in pretty much every occupation you can all the way up the ladder?
Yeah, I think it does. It helps a lot. You appreciate every person's job along the way. You realize it takes every single person, every team member, every crew member, every shop guy. It's one big team, so I think that helps. I didn't have the luxury of driving other cars. They threw me into a funny car to see if I could do it, and having been able to understand the car, still be able to work on them if I need to, I think that's helped me become a good driver. So, yeah, I appreciate every single job out here, and I've been here 22 years this year, so it's been an exciting roller coaster.
Yeah. How was that first conversation? Obviously you were working on the program. I know you specialized in clutches and things like that, but how was that conversation when they originally said, hey, I think we're going to try you in the driver's seat? Because that one had to been out of left field. It wasn't like you lobbied for that or anything. that was one of those that, you never really planned on, right? How did that conversation, and what was your reaction?
Well, it was, I always asked John all kinds of questions when the time was right about driving and what it was like and what he felt on this run and how this goes and what's this like. And so I was always planting the seed because that's what I wanted to do, but I never thought I'd get a shot. And so finally John says, you got to go to Frank Hawley's driving school and see if you like, this isn't for everybody. You may get there and think that this isn't any fun. So went there, drove an alcohol funny car. I think I made 6 runs, got a license. And after that, they started putting me in John's car on Monday. And wow, it was like, it's one of those things where you can't get enough. This is like, you're hooked, you want more. And I remember the day I got my license, Topeka, Kansas, and they told me on the radio what the card ran, and I knew that was good enough for a license. Got out of the car, I was so excited. John was the first guy there on his scooter, shook my hand, but it was kind of a buzzkill. He's like, this doesn't mean anything, kid. Just because you have a license, this doesn't mean anything. I've now got to go out and sell you to sponsors and corporate America and see if I can do that. So don't get your hopes up. Well, fortunately, we have the auto club, and there was an opening on that car to drive, and they were totally good with me, going in the car. So like I said in my acceptance speech at the banquet, not many racers can say they've had the same sponsor for 12 years, and I can say that, and they've been a great partner.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of sponsors, I know obviously John Force Racing, you guys are one of the top teams in NHRA drag racing. I feel like me as a fan, and I also look at things from the marketing and sponsorship standpoint because I do that in my field, but I feel like NHRA is we talk about John Force Racing have kind of made the turn, but I feel like NHRA, I feel like the package they're putting out there now is so much, is so much better than it was even a few years ago. Not that it was ever bad, but, do you feel like that? In the sponsorship hunt and things like that, as president of John Force Racing, do you feel like, the NHRA package, I feel like, the series is carrying a lot of momentum right now, I guess would be the right terms. How do you feel about that?
NHRA's definitely turned it around. Peter Clifford, the new president, has made a lot of stuff happen in the 2 short years that he's been in office. Getting Fox Sports as our TV package, and man, I tell you, you go to the races, and we had quite a few sellouts, this year, and quite a few during the countdown. So Pomona was packed at the last race. Vegas was packed. It was they're doing something right. And you turn on the other forms of motorsports, and you're not seeing that. You're seeing a lot of empty seats. So I think they're doing a great job, but I also think that, what NHRA has to offer is so much better for people's attention span. A little bit of racing, there's a break. A little bit of racing, there's a break. When there is a break, you go to the pits, watch these guys work on these cars. You're right there amongst everything that's happening. Get driver autographs. And there's just so much to do at an NHRA event, but you don't have to sit in your seat and watch cars go around in a circle for 4 hours. So, and don't get me wrong, I am a huge NASCAR fan. I'll be tuned in all day Sunday to watch and see who wins the championship. But I really think the fan experience at an NHRA event is like none other.
Yeah, well, and I've always said too about NHRA, it's something that you've got to feel, and I really mean that. I mean, you can watch these cars all day long on television, but until you're actually there at the drag strip and you can feel it in your chest, it's one of those things where you just can't explain it, right? You've got to be there in person.
Without a doubt. I always say if you can get somebody to come out to a race, I'll bet money that they come a second time. It's that exciting. And it also makes it more fun to watch on TV when you have been there and witnessed it and see what it's all about.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit before we let you go, but this year, I mean, I know I talked with Courtney about this a while back, and we were talking, it was interesting, with a change some years ago from quarter mile down to 1,000 feet, and it was supposed to reduce speeds and things like that, which it did. But now I look, and I mean, you've got some of the fastest times in NHRA history. I think, what did you do, like a 3:39.8 at some point this year? I mean, to me, it's just mind-blowing how fast you guys are going. I mean, where's the limit of this?
Well, that's kind of what NHRA's always been about, is pushing the envelope and going quicker and faster all the time. That's your mindset. That's what makes it so exciting. And unfortunately, we couldn't keep doing that at a quarter mile. These tracks weren't long enough, and it was getting a little dangerous for the tires, if we were still going quarter mile. So 1,000 foot made it a little shorter, but it allowed us to continue to push the envelope and try to get quicker and faster all the time. So, and you're also seeing closer side-by-side racing than you've ever seen, in history. So the 1,000 foot is good to me. We did set several records this year. We're pushing the envelope of 340 miles an hour, kind of hoping we'd get it done at Pomona, but it just didn't work out. So close to 340, and we made the first run under 3.8 seconds in a funny car this year. So, and that's what you have to look forward to next year. A lot of work over the winter to try to get quicker and faster. That's the name of the game in the sport.
Yeah. So you're pretty confident at some point next year we'll see 340?
Yeah, given the right conditions.
So, I appreciate you taking the time. I mean, obviously, congratulations to you guys. Looking forward already to 2018 and what's to come for both you and John Force Racing. And, much appreciated for the time, my friend. And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'd like to welcome my next guest to the line. I can tell already you're probably wearing a smile, but Brittany Forrest, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, I know. Caught up with a lot of people in the John Force Racing camp, and this is your first time on the show, so I guess my apologies, but it's definitely a good time to have you on, I would say. I mean, how has life been the past 24, 48 hours?
You know, it's really been a whirlwind. It still doesn't seem real. It hasn't sunk in. But, you know, leaving Las Vegas, we were number 2 in points, and we left Vegas final round with a red light. That was tough for me. You know, I let that go for my team. And but going into Pomona, we still had a shot at a championship, and that's what our monster team was going to throw down for. I never saw it going this way. It still seems surreal. I never knew if we'd get here. But I have the greatest team behind me, and it's because of them and Alan Johnson and Brian Houston. That in Pomona, we locked it up in the second round, and you know, brought home the first Top Fuel championship for John Force Racing, and we won the race. So it's a big weekend. It's huge. I'm so proud of it. It's still, I can't get over it all. It doesn't seem real.
Well, and that's got to be kind of exciting because it you know, a lot of times it doesn't happen that way. But to win the final race and the championship, just put your stamp on the season, and you know, that's got to feel good in itself. You know.
Of course. I mean, I barely even remember Sunday. It was just the day flew by so fast, and for me, winning Pomona is huge. That's my home track. I've always wanted to win there. And it's the last race of the season. Everybody wants to win that race. And it's like, we were so focused on championship. It's like, I keep forgetting, oh my gosh, we won Pomona too. Like, that's a huge accomplishment in itself. It was just, the weekend seems like a blur. What we accomplished as a team was just incredible.
Yeah, well, and you know, and I know the season started out a little bit slow. I mean, early going in the season, you probably had no idea that you would be sitting where you're at today. I mean, how did this season progress for you guys? Because it was a bit of a roller coaster.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, we got off to a slow start. I mean, we definitely struggled in the beginning of our season, but we have this great team around us. I have a great team around me, and you know, our guys, they never gave up. We had weekends where, you know, it fell in the, you know, the team making mistakes. It fell on me as a driver making mistakes. And we weren't in the rhythm of it. We weren't in the fight for it. And, we finally brought home our first win in Epping. That was, way later in the season than we'd expected and what we'd wanted. And, we really turned a corner in the countdown. Right after Indy, when the whole countdown, starts to play out, that's when we really turned a corner. I mean, we won, 3 countdown races, went to the finals, and, that's how we moved up to the top. That's how we moved up to second place, and, we're able to lock it in and bring it home.
Yeah. Well, you said something earlier that I think is really kind of interesting, because people think of John Force Racing and as a team, you guys have accomplished just about everything you can accomplish. But then you said, hey, we had a first. I mean, there's not many firsts left to have for John Force Racing, but first Top Fuel championship. I mean, that's got to feel pretty special for the team as a whole, because that's something new for you guys.
It does. I mean, that's huge for us. We've always been funny cars. That's all John Force Racing's ever been. And then in 2013, we brought a Top Fuel car into our pits, and I had the opportunity to drive that. That's something I'm very proud of. It was a challenge. It was a real challenge, just because we'd only known funny cars. But to see where we've come in 5 years and to bring home a championship, that's huge. But we also doubled up. Robert Hight, my teammate in the Auto Club car, he also won the championship. So it was 2 JFR cars that brought home a championship. I think my dad's pretty excited. I think he's pretty pumped about it.
Yeah, well, that's a question for you. I mean, because your dad, he's won, countless championships at this point, and event wins, and, he's got so many records. But, he's got to be excited. I mean, because he's moving to a point where, he's built this amazing company, John Force Racing. And, I mean, to see you and Robert both take championships, I mean, that's got to be just as fulfilling for him as him actually winning at some point, right?
Oh, absolutely. I know he's definitely so proud of our teams, all of John Force Racing. But I think we haven't had a championship win in a while. I mean, my dad's had 16 to himself. That just seems crazy, but it's been a while since John Force Racing has brought one home. And the fact that we both did it, we doubled up. I think it puts all the right energy, all that positive motivation. It puts it all right back in our pits, that we were able to pull it off and we did it. I know everyone is still on cloud 9 at JFR.
Yeah. Well, I kind of want to go back to the beginning. I mean, we'll talk some more, but, this is the first time I've had you on air, so then I start digging back a little bit. But I want to talk about kind of the beginnings, because obviously, both your sisters are have raced. I mean, Courtney still and Ashley in the past. But, you went and you got a degree in education. I mean, how did the whole drag racing door open for you? I mean, was that something as a kid you knew you wanted to do? I mean, you were around it, but, I mean, when did that open up and you go, hey, I really want to try and make a career of this?
It was, I went and, got a teaching credential, graduated from Cal State Fullerton with my BA, and I always knew I'd be involved in drag racing. I love the sport. I mean, it's home to me. I grew up at half these racetracks with my sisters, and everyone out there is family. So I always knew I'd be involved in it, just not, I never thought I'd be driving one of these things. That just seems crazy to me, back years ago. But, at 16, I got a license Super Comp. I got a license in, AFIL a few years later. I competed for about 6 years while I was, going to school. And I loved it. I loved driving my AFIL dragster. And I kind of thought that was, that's where I'd stay. And I kind of bounced back and forth between, going into teaching and driving AFIL. And I wanted to do both. And then, I had the opportunity to drive a Top Fuel car. And I'm not going to turn that down. And I jumped in the thing. And when I made my first full pass at Las Vegas, that's when I knew I wanted to go Top Fuel driving. That's when I knew my career path. I knew everything changed. I was hooked when I made my first full pass. And, I fell in love with it. I thought I'd be, in the stands more involved. I never thought I'd be piloting one of these dragsters. They're insane. They're 330 miles per hour in less than 4 seconds. It's 10,000 horsepower. They're beasts. They're animals. And it's pretty cool that, I ended up over here. It was a shock to me. If you would have asked me 10 years ago, I would have said, there's no way I'll ever get one of those things. That's insane. I always thought, the top fuel drivers and funny car drivers were absolutely nuts. I thought I'd be driving my A-Fuel dragster, but you know, I ended up here. But you know, driving Super Comp and A-Fuel, I believe it's, you know, it helped me. It built me as a driver and made me the driver I am today.
Yeah. Well, and you know how that's what I find interesting about this, because everything about it says, oh, you know, you would have gone, you know, the funny car route. I mean, how did the whole idea of a top fuel program with JFR, I mean, was it just a way to diversify? I mean, how did that come into play? Because most people would have thought, oh, if she's going to go at the elite level, it would have been the funny car route. I mean, but top fuel, I mean, that had to have been, you know, a big change for everybody, because, you know, like I've seen some interviews with your dad, you know, and it, you know, there's a lot of crossover between the two, but it's still something that's new to the team.
Yeah, it was more like we hadn't planned to go top fuel racing. It was just an opportunity. We were testing some things and we wanted to test them in a top fuel car. Kind of was the plan. And I was driving an A-Fuel dragster at the time, so it made the most sense for me to get into the thing. And again, we didn't see it going this way at all. It just happened. I fell in love with it. I was hooked on it, and you know, I surprised myself more than anybody. But I've actually tested in a funny car a handful of times, working on just about got my license. And I've always wanted, after getting into a top fuel car, I always wanted to get into a funny car. I always wanted to get licensed in one, just, you know, because funny car's home for John Force Racing.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've always wanted to feel the difference between the two. And I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to get licensed in one. And it's been an exciting year, a lot going on, but it's pretty cool to say that I've driven both. Yeah.
Well, and how is it racing? You know, obviously you've got Courtney, you know, in the same camp, but your sister, obviously you guys are close. But you know, I think it's really unique that you guys are in different divisions. So, you know, you don't ever have to worry about facing each other. You know what I mean? Out on the drag strip. I mean, so it's one of those where you can really, you know, do you feel like it's really nice because you can kind of pick her brain and you guys can bounce ideas off each other, and you know, there's never going to be a point in time where you guys line. Well, I don't want to say never, but you know, there's not going to be a point in time anytime in the foreseeable future where you line up against each other.
Yeah, you know, that was the other reason why after I got licensed in a top fuel car, you know, there was the idea of, okay, do you want to jump into a funny car, and you know, we have Courtney driving, Robert and my dad, and it just, to me, it seemed we should bring a top fuel car into our pits. We already have 3 funny cars. Let's bring a top fuel car into our pits. It's going to be a challenge. It's not going to be easy, but I think that's something exciting, and I think it's exciting for all our teams. But having Courtney out there, having my dad, you know, having their support, that means more to me than anything. I go to Courtney all the time. Even though she drives a funny car and I'm in the dragster, we talk racing all the time. We give each other advice. We try to help each other out. And, you know, it's really cool to share, you know, this passion with my sister and you know, being able to talk about it and get advice from each other.
Yeah. Well, and how has your relationship been with Monster Energy? Because I know there was a point there was a big gray area for John Force Racing, and you know, and you guys are the most professional team in motorsport. You guys have rebounded tenfold. But you know, there was a big sponsor change, but Monster Energy came in with you, supported you. I mean, how has that relationship been?
Oh, Monster's been incredible. They're the reason we have the title of champions this year. You know, they're the ones that put all their support. They put all their faith in me as a driver. And Monster's about winning. So that was a lot of pressure to take on. But I knew our team was capable of it. And, you know, I have to give it all up to them. They're the reason we're out here. They're the ones that gave us this chance. And so it was pretty cool to, you know, be able to give that back to them.
Yeah. So, you know, looking forward, obviously, you know, you've become the first female since 1982 to take a top fuel championship. I mean, looking forward at 2018, I mean, what do we expect? Because now you're the person with a target on your back, right? I mean, how does that feel going into next year?
I don't even want to think about 2018. I want to live in this moment right now with, you know, everything we've accomplished. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. It just doesn't seem real. And it's something I'm so proud of. I'm so pumped over it, so excited. But, you know, we're going to do what we did, you know, this entire season and, you know, go after it again. But I think now that we've done it, we've accomplished it, I think that puts a little more confidence in all of us that we could do it again.
Yeah. So I got to ask, off-season is very short in motorsport, especially NHRA, but what's the off-season bring for you? I mean, most people say, hey, I won the championship, I'm going to Disneyland. I mean, what is next for Brittany Force?
I just want to be home. our season, 24 events, and we do sponsor appearances in between where we're flying in and out. So we're not home very much. So for me, I just want to be home. Really no plans. My family always gets together at Christmas time, and I can't wait for that. But I just want to be home, enjoy being home, and celebrate our season.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate the time, Brittany. Thank you very much for coming on the show, and congratulations once again on the championship.
Thank you very much.
Talk about a legend in the making. Awesome having Brittany Force make her debut here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show. I'm sure we're going to have her plenty more times in the future. But thanks to Brittany for calling in. Thank you guys for listening in. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back to wrap things up here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Wrapping up an insanely awesome edition of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Thanks to all you guys for tuning in. Thanks to my amazing guests, Brandon Schueler, Cameron Steele, Brittany Force, Robert Hight, my friends at JFR, John Force Racing, for setting everything up. Thanks to Amy Hood. Thanks to all you guys for always supporting the show. But tons of fun. Make sure and give Amy and I a follow on social media. It's at JimBeaver15 and at AmyHood71. And make sure and go over to iTunes if you haven't already. Much appreciated if you subscribe to the Down and Dirty Radio Show on iTunes. And if you leave a rating and review, it's even more appreciated. Definitely helps us out after the fact, but you can tune in national syndication, online, Podcast One, downanddirtyshow.com, wherever you do. Don't forget to check out Project Action, my podcast that I do with all things action that drops on Thursdays on the Podcast One network. Big thanks to Polaris Razor, General Tire, Subaru, KC Highlights, Gibson Exhaust, Dirtfish, Impact, OTSFF, Optimus Starters, our good friends at GenuinePolarisParts.com. Terracross, Blue Water Resort and Casino. Don't forget pre-Black Friday sale happening at KC Highlights right now. 15% off and free 2-day shipping. Use the coupon code Beaver Swag for some free stuff. Dirtfish, they've got amazing, an amazing Black Friday sale going on, and Cyber Monday sale, 25% off all classes and gift certificates. So definitely make sure and check those out. Thank you guys once again for tuning in. It's always appreciated. We couldn't do it without you. If you guys have any guest suggestions, ideas, thoughts, whatever, you can use a contact form on my website at downanddirtyshow.com or DM me on social media. I accept DMs. I do. So thank you for those of you that do send those direct messages. I get those. Or, you can always leave feedback on iTunes, when you leave a review there as well. And if you do leave a review, you leave your Twitter, Instagram at username, and I will follow you back. But, man, we got the Best in Desert finale coming up, PRI show, and a whole lot more we'll be covering here on your favorite Action Motorsports radio show. Be safe. As always, game on.